If you've been keeping up with the news, then you know that Donald Trump visited the Middle East recently. But don't worry, I am not going to talk about politics here. We're here to talk about hair, and that's because this is the Detangler, where we untangle the meaning and the significance of hair and why it's so important to us humans that we keep on putting it in our art, rituals, and legends. So when Donald Trump visited the United Arab Emirates, he was greeted by a flipping hair dance called Al-Ayyala or Khaleejy. This is a traditional performance with young women swaying their long hair back and forth. And say what you will about Donald Trump, actually don't, not here anyway, say it somewhere else, but whatever you think of Donald Trump, I gotta say his reaction is really relatable. I mean, if I was confronted by a room full of women swaying their long hair back and forth to the rhythm of drums and chanting, I'd probably be surprised too. It's a relatable moment. This ritual is called Ayyala or Khaleejy, and it's practiced throughout the Gulf region, but it varies from one region to the next. The one thing that's consistent are the men who are chanting and holding these canes, which represent swords. The rhythm and the tempo and the words of the poetry might change from one region to the other, but they're always there in these rows, holding these cane swords and chanting. That part's consistent. What changes from one region to the other is whether or not these women are present. This ritual is recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage, and in their nomination video for the UAE and Oman, they described the women being there as a distinctly UAE ritual.
In the UAE, but not Oman, several girls in traditional colorful dresses stand in front of the men and toss their long hair from side to side, signifying that they have faith in their protection by the chivalrous males.
The women are called naashat, and they're wearing traditional white gowns. In some versions, they're wearing much more colorful clothing, but here I think they wanted to keep everything uniform and make it look more impressive by everyone wearing the same thing. So although the UNESCO nomination video describes it as a distinctly UAE tradition, the women being present in Ayyala seems to have caught on in a lot of regions since then. So there they are in their loose traditional gowns, swaying their loose long hair, and that symbolizes their faith that these chivalrous men are going to protect them. So in a country where women almost always are covering up their hair, although it's not a law in the UAE. It's noticeable when their hair is not only uncovered, but it's flowing loose. And loose, that's really what they're risking here, is being seen as loose women. Brazen. Modesty really is the law in the UAE. So to have loose hair really is provocative against that modesty requirement. So whether or not this is traditionally seen as such, as an outsider, I see this as a provocative dance. This ritual turns the whole premise, the whole tradition of modesty on its head. This is a country that values modesty for women above all else. So it's really flouting the tradition of modesty and creating a new tradition. This is a provocative dance. And the reason why they feel secure enough to flow their hair around loose like that is because they trust these men to protect their safety, their modesty, their purity. From what I can tell, this tradition always is with young girls, with teenagers, who are at the very peak of their beauty and vulnerability. And so that's how they decided to greet Trump, trusting him to protect young women so much that they feel safe to let their hair down, whip their hair back and forth. How nice.